Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. Everybody's healthy?
Everybody's healthy as far as I know.
Excellent.
Well, we're going to have Susan probably a little bit live on stream here, too. That's good.
I took my video off for the record.
Well, I would have to invite you to turn it on. Live on stream.
Really?
Here too.
Turn it on?
Yeah, well, you can turn yours on. Unless I turn it on, it won't pop you up.
Off for the record. Okay.
Well, I would have to invite you to turn it on.
She's pretty.
Well, I don't know. You know what? You artist guys. What am I gonna do? See,
She's pretty.
I can see her.
That's a nice shirt he's wearing, right?
How you like my shirt?
Very nice shirt.
But I
I think you got a house in there.
Well, I told him, how am I going to have him in the room and I have his merch and not kind of represent, because I wear it
You're
out. You're
representing, man.
Well, I always do. I have several of them, but I usually when I go to festivals and stuff, it's if it's a local artist and I have to have their merch, then obviously I wear theirs.
Yeah, really.
I usually wear yours or Caitlin Rutland. So, all right. Well, looked like the stream was working. So, you ready to do this thing?
Well, hell yeah.
I hear an echo. All right. Let's go back and restart the stream. Go to this. Welcome to K.I.C Country Corner. In today's episode, we have the awesome and my buddy, Scott. Hi, Scott. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Ray? Thanks for having me on today. How are you?
We're doing great. Go ahead and introduce yourself to those who may have been sleeping under a rock or in a corner somewhere. How do you like that for a little bit?
Well, I don't know about sleeping under a rock. I'm just a country artist, singer, songwriter from New Jersey. And I've been out for just a little bit under 5 years now. And I've been getting some radio play since October 2015. My first song that was out was called You Don't Love Me. And I think that's probably right around when I first started meeting you and a couple other people, started building up a fan base. And I tell you what, I give a lot of glory to God and all the radio stations that have been playing me and the fans and the friends that I've met over the last few years. It's just been really great. I love writing music. I'm an entrepreneur. So for those of you who don't know that I own a few different businesses. The music business, it's not that it's not lucrative, but you need a lot of time to do it. And sometimes, unless you have a rich daddy or a rich mama, you gotta work at it. And sometimes you gotta work 2 or 3 times as hard as the other guy. And like I said, I give a lot of glory to God that I can still do this, and I'm coming out with songs, and people are buying them and downloading them. And like I said, the support and love has just been so amazing. I can't thank everybody enough for everything. It's just been great on Twitter and Facebook, or on Instagram. And so far, I got 2 albums out right now. The first album's Tonight's the Night. It's a 10-song album. And the first song on that album is called Jukebox. You're wearing the shirt. That really helped me get some recognition. And it ended up being #1 several times on so many different radio stations all over the planet. And that's how that song actually got my foot in the door, which was really cool. It's on a compilation from a couple different other avenues that we got on. The best thing is the people that I've met, like yourself, through over the last few years. It's really been wonderful. And like I said, I'm not even celebrating. It's not even been a full 5 years yet. And it's just been amazing. The people that are buying the records, and that want the autograph posters and the shirts and the hats. And it's just, I tell you what, it could just, it builds you up inside. It just gets you all emotional that people care and love you so much. And that's the best thing about this type of genre of music and this type of industry. People, they really appreciate who you are and what you're doing. It's no BS. If you're not plastic, they take you into their home and listen to you and tell their friends about you. And it's a real big word of mouth thing. It has nothing to do with being on a commercial during the Super Bowl or anything. The friends and fans that I've met out there over the last few years are just, there's nobody else better. There really isn't.
I get you, country fan or something loyal ones. I'm going to take a minute just for a second, just in case she doesn't want her face posted all over the internet. I can't control your video. So if you want to turn your camera off, because you're actually live streaming, and when I record this, when I play it back and upload it, you'll be posted. If you want to stay on, that's fine. I won't allude to who we're talking to unless Scott would like to introduce her, and she would like to unmute herself and introduce herself.
It's up to you, babe. You want to be on TV?
I want to be wherever you are.
All right. If you want the video to be on, you could have it on, whatever you want.
It's up to her.
Yeah. She co-manages me.
I make a lot of commentaries, but I do.
Well, that's fine, because we all know what that means. That means you keep him in line.
He doesn't need to be kept in line at all.
Yeah, he's one of the nice guys. And kind of alluding back to some of the stuff you were saying, especially with the music industry, you're right. It depends. You have to have a lot. You almost have to dedicate and focus your 100% attention on that. And I do know about some of your other businesses that you do and all that stuff. But just because you are focused and you have that focus in that, that's no guarantee that you're going to make it in there. So it's kind of a hit and miss situation.
Yeah, there's no guarantee, but I'm still churning out good songs. They're getting on the radio stations, and we're celebrating over 100,000 downloads and streams, which is really amazing. For an indie artist. I'm on the radio over 500 times a week, dude. It's nuts.
You got to love that. Country fan or loyal, are they not? Yeah. They can call us a bunch of different names, all the Hicks and all that stuff they want to, but we loyal.
You're so deplorable.
Right? And they say, "Oh, you're so infamous." Infamous? Maybe, but I don't know about infamous, but I might be infamous.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're going to go talk a little bit about your background. You obviously did some writing and you worked with some different people, and it's not up to me to drop their names if you wish to do that. But if you kind of just give everybody kind of a quick history of when you were a studio tech or a musician and working with some of the people that you worked with.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to the recording studio that I do all my work at. It's in West Long Branch, New Jersey, and the owner's name is Joseph DeMayo. And that studio is called Surefire Recording Studios. And in that studio, I've worked with, oh my God, probably over 100 different artists. One of them is John Bon Jovi, by the way.
We say that.
Richie Sambora, I worked with the whole band. I was actually a gopher when they were doing the Crush album. And I tell you what, working with that band was an amazing experience, because those guys, just let me tell you something. When he says, I played a million places and I've rocked them all, or whatever he says, a million faces and rocked them all. He's right. That guy's been on every stage in the world. He's a performer. Hey, listen, I'm not crazy about the guy's music, but he was a musical icon in the 80s. And just being in the same room with that band for 2 weeks, you learned a thing or two about a thing or two. And I'm one of those guys where the glass is half empty. You know what I mean? It's half full, half empty. I'm always willing to learn. I'm not a full glass of water, Ray. If somebody's got a better idea or something like that, I love collaborating with different writers. And as far as the music writing process goes, I have a lot of friends. Even Susan should be like, well, maybe that shouldn't go there. That lyric, kind of. So, I try bouncing stuff off. Even my fans, I send them videos of like the baby song where the song's only like a minute long, and I try to get the idea, and then we take that idea, we bring it out to the studio, and I introduce it to the band. And so basically, I've worked in a lot of cover bands. I've had music on different like B movies and commercials. I did a soundtrack for a movie called Psycho Sisters, where that music's not country at all. But I did a bunch of cool, wacky sound effects, and I had a song on there called Purple Images. It's kind of like a rocked out country twang, almost rockabilly type of thing. And he actually used that during one of the scenes in the movie. So, over the last 15, 20 years, I've been all over the place. I only really started singing pretty much 2010, 2011 is when I first started going out there and singing. I was always the lead guitar player in the band. Now, listen, I was in these garage bands and I tried singing, and then the drummer sang a few songs, the bass player sang a few songs, and listen, we got gigs. But it wasn't until 2010, 2011 when I really started taking it serious as a singer. The thing is with me, I've always been a guitar player and I've been in so many different genres of music. I can't pull off the rock thing. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'1". I'm 250 pounds. People think that I work out all the time, and he's big, he's built, he's got these guns. Sometimes I don't even work out for like a month or two.
I get it, because
I'm just like I had a 19-inch neck when I was in high school. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I used to wrestle when I was in high school. I never played football. But the thing is, I've worked with so many different bands that I love country music. I grew up with Kenny Rogers being played in my house, Elvis being played in my house, Alabama. I was telling you, I used to live in Central Florida. A big shout out to my Florida crew, my brothers in Spring Hill. We got plenty of family. My sister in Georgia, Donna, and my sister Tammy, if she's listening, she's in Pennsylvania. But like I said, they'll all tell you, the big tribute was our mom. She knew good music. And, I went up on the coffee table at the age of like 3 or 4 and did my Elvis show for my mom and her friends. So, the thing was, when I started singing, I knew all the chords and all the notes to all these songs, but I wasn't a singer. So I never knew the damn words. So they're like, oh, I bet you could do Folsom Prison Blues. And I'm like, I love that song. And they're like, oh, yeah. So I'd go up and do it. And thank God I was at karaoke or something and they had the words up, because I knew how to play the song on guitar. I knew the guitar solo. I knew the counting. I knew the phrasing, but I never knew the words.
Right.
So it was like a whole new experience back in, like I said, from 2010 to 2012. I was basically learning how to sing these songs, but I don't have a rock voice. I have more of a country voice. And I want to be genuine. I don't want to be, some of my fans know that I tried out for Stone Temple Pilots. I know 2 of the guys. I used to go to school with Bob DeLeo, who's the bass player. And, it's not that I'm dropping names. I went to high school with the guy. You know what I mean? So we used to jam together, and we listened to everything from you name it, from King Crimson to Ted Nugent to Yes. Leonard Skinner, he was just an amazing guitar player when we were kids. So I thought, hey, I'm singing now. Let me try out for Stone Temple Pilots. But I don't look anything like Scott Weiland did. I mean, he's like 98 pounds soaking wet with 2 rolls of quarters in his pockets when he was alive. Now I'm over 200 pounds, man. I just don't fit that category.
I get you.
I'm a deplorable,
Me too. I was junior high school when it was called junior high school. I guess they call it middle school now.
Yeah.
Down south, it was always junior high school. But even they went to middle school now. But I went from the end of 8th grade being 5'5" and probably 117 pounds soaking wet to the beginning of 9th grade at 6'1", 180 pounds.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of like,
They called you Big Ray.
Well, they called me something, but I'm not sure I want to repeat some of the stuff I got called.
Oh man.
I was usually the other team's worst nightmare, but yeah, my coach kind of loved me because it was kind of like, come to find out, he was my cousin, so I didn't know.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah.
One of
Well, when
my
I lived in
cousins.
Florida, I went to Deltona Junior High.
Very nice.
Yep, there's junior high back then too. I guess we're kind of old folks now. Everything's middle school. But I
Right?
went to Deltona Junior High, so like I said, a big shout out to all my Florida people.
Yeah, I'll be 60 this May.
Yeah, I ain't saying no numbers, man. I ain't going there. You ain't tricking me into that.
Don't need to, because actually there's one on here, and with one of the fun questions, and I always tell them, and it's basically for the girls. I said, don't give the year, just give me your birth date, and let everybody else wonder whether you're still 18 years old or not.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't look 18. It's like But 626. 626.
And I'm sure your significant other over there keeps giving you the thumbs up. I bet she kind of likes that salt and pepper up there, buddy.
Really?
I can't get away with that.
I asked her if she wanted me to do that. She's like, nah, that's all right. I said, well, should I shave my head? I said, I want to be sexy like Ray.
If I wouldn't have been bald in the center, I was fine. Because a long time I had long hair, but it was, and nobody knew until I pulled my hat off. I was bald on top. So I was just kind of like, well, might as well make the whole look like that. And it took me a minute to get used to it because I didn't want to look like some skinhead or something like that. But when you put a cowboy hat on, you can't look that way.
Hey, the cowboy hat, you look very handsome.
Well, thank you, sir.
That's one hell of a shirt, by the way.
I love this shirt. Thank you all.
Good looking.
And for those of y'all who can't read it back there, it says Scott Brandt, jukebox. Y'all make sure you go buy.
Ray.
Y'all make sure you go buy some more of his music, provided that you can get a hold of it because it sells out really fast, from my understanding.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that around Christmas time they couldn't buy the CD; it was out of stock.
There you go. Okay, you mind if we move into some questions?
Let's go for it, man.
All right. Obviously, it was a young age. When did you first know that you wanted to become an artist?
When I was 4.
Awesome.
Yeah, when I jumped up on the coffee table and did basically the whole Elvis live via satellite show on the coffee table for my mama, for her 4 friends. That was it. I knew I wanted to do something.
Right on. We went through. We already went through some of your influences growing up. I think you kind of mentioned those earlier. Today, in today's world, whether they be new, unknown, labeled artists, independent artists, who are some of your musical influences today?
Well, I'm still a huge Garth Brooks fan. I'm a huge Leonard Skinner fan. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. But as a guitar player, I was a guitar teacher and I still teach privately. I still love Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing. I'm a huge Ted Nugent supporter and huge Ted Nugent fan. I've met him. I love the guy. I love everything he's for. He's nuts. I'm nuts. I think in our own way, we're all nuts.
Kind of gotta be a little bit nuts to do what we do,
I
right?
mean, I've seen Ted so many times. A lot of people, when they hear my lead guitar playing, they're like, I could tell you listen to Ted growing up because I hear it in your guitar playing. I could just keep going for hours and hours. I mean, everybody from like the Red Hot Chili Peppers to Alabama. I'm a huge Oak Ridge Boys fan. I mean, how much more crazier than that? Hey, I actually even had a tryout. I was going to try out for Marilyn Manson back in 1997. It was all ready to go. Yeah, it was all ready to go.
You one-eyed monster, you!
I was supposed to fly out to Chicago, and they ended up hiring Zim Zum for the Antichrist Superstar tour.
Right.
But it was cool. I got to talk to Brian on the phone, and everything. It was going to work out, and I started to, I knew every song upside down and backwards from Marilyn Manson back in the 90s. I've always loved to express myself through music. For me, it's not being like famous and popular and all that. Let me just tell you something. I've already been a millionaire before. I've already had everything I want. It has nothing to do with that. I just like expressing myself musically. And this time around, as far as music goes, I tell you, I've already been paid back at over $1 million, and it's already priceless because I've met some of the most beautiful people and some of the most wonderful people that support me and say the most wonderful things about my music and how my music makes them feel. And it's just overwhelming. Not every day I get crazy messages, but sometimes you get some weird stuff from some weird people. And somebody told me, they're like, you know what, you got haters, that means you're getting famous.
I was talking to a young lady today. I interviewed. She was my last interview, Saska. She's from the UK, and I told her, it's almost kind of a form of flattery when they do start hating on you.
Yeah.
And hello, Margaret. How are you?
Hey, Margaret.
We can see you. If you don't want to be seen, you'll have to turn your camera off. I don't have control over that.
All right.
I may be able to.
Thanks for stopping by. You could ask questions in the chat room if you want.
No, I can't. I can't control her camera. She'll have to control it from her end.
All right.
But anyhow, I was telling her when you start getting a little notoriety and all that, because she wanted to tell me how people were trolling and taking her fans. I said, well, that's kind of a good thing. I mean, any publicity is obviously good publicity. You don't want really bad publicity because it's something you did. But when they're trying to emulate you, or they're trying to, be you or something, it's a form of flattery. And I do understand because your music is very relatable. And well, for me, I mean, that's when I listen to music, and I know you'll understand this terminology. I listen to music that takes me to church.
Yeah.
So that's where I come from, and from the first day you did. I mean, I'm not normally more of I don't want to call it rock country, but like the jukebox song and a couple of the other ones.
It is rock country though, man. It's cool.
But it was relatable, and it just drew me in because I try to tell everybody, music is nothing but poems put to music, and those poems come from somewhere, and it's either from personal experiences or from friends that you've had your whole life growing up that you're writing about, or however that goes. And so yeah, that's all really, really good. So yeah, it's just wanted to kind of hit on that. Let's get into your music. Any current music that you can secretly divulge that you have on the back burner that may be coming out? Obviously,
we got a song coming out. Some of my fans have heard it. It's called "Come and Get Me."
Right.
And it's not out yet, but it's all ready to get released. And our third release is going to be what's called an extended play disc, which is an EP. So it's going to be about 4 or 5 songs, and it's going to have "Sweetheart" on it, which is probably my biggest selling single since Jukebox.
Nice.
And so it's going to have "Come and Get Me," and then we have another track called "Welcome to My World," and that's a very Americana. You'll hear the whole "Proud American" Scott Brand in that song. I am a proud American, and I'm letting it all hang out in that song.
There you go, buddy.
And there's a couple other ones. I don't want to give up the Gipper yet because the album's not done yet, but it's just about there. And we had to go on hold because of the whole Corona, virus thing going on right now, which, if I may, I want to thank all the healthcare workers out there, all the doctors, everybody that's helping out, putting their lives on the line, the first responders, our wonderful police force in all the towns everywhere that are helping all these
poor people that are contracting this virus. It's awful what's going on, but the people that are helping out, I just want to give them all a shout out and a God bless you for that, and their families. The people that we've lost from this horrible virus right now. It's just I want to be recognized that on behalf of myself and my family and my band and all our family members, that our hearts really go out to you, and we want to thank you so very much for helping out those that need the help the most. And that's what it's all about. We're going to get through this together as a family, as a planet, and I'm hoping that it's all going to unite us.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you saying all that, because it's usually, even before I get into your bio, it's kind of like right after your introduction. I like to go ahead and address normally the white elephant in the room. That would be COVID-19, and we pray and hope. But I got so excited because it's you I'm interviewing. I've been a big fan of yours forever. So
thanks, brother.
We hope and pray that you and your family are all safe and sound, and that everybody that you know is safe and sound. And we as well here at Kick Country's Corner would love to put a shout out to all of the first responders and even our troops overseas and stuff that are helping keeping us safe and sound. We send them praise and their well-being, because now they're on two war fronts. They're on the one that they were originally stationed there for, and now they're dealing with this virus that's sweeping, because this is not a United States thing. This is not an Italy thing. This is a world thing. But I try to put a positive spin on it, and I'm seeing the positivity that I see is we're getting more of this in our families. We're getting more eye-to-eye contact. We're getting more communication. And that's where it really stands. For a long time, because of this stuff, the digital age and the Xboxes and all that, our kids kind of lost touch with reality and sitting in front of a TV eating their dinner while they're playing their Xbox or watching their favorite show. Whereas you probably grew up the same way. We had a dinner table. There was no TV, no nothing allowed. And you didn't pretty much say mud for a bucket full at the dinner table, because mommy and daddy ruled the roost.
Yeah, we definitely we had the same standards in our place as well, Ray.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, I apologize for not getting onto the COVID-19 thing first. But
yeah, we got to it.
I was right. Well, you got to it, and I'm glad you did. I just, like I said, I was excited to interview you. What was the very first live performance you ever did?
All right. It's pretty cool. I was in 7th grade, and I was playing guitar for about 6 months. And I joined my friend Jimmy Coyne's band, who still is a drummer right now. He's a dear good friend of mine. And we had this band called the White Tiger Band. And we played a talent show and at a church called Sacred Heart Church in Bay Head, New Jersey. And I was 13 years old.
Awesome, man. Wow.
Yeah, I still remember a couple of the songs we did. We did an original called Fancy Pants that we wrote. And then we did Already Gone by the Eagles.
Nice.
And then we did the Grateful Dead version of Good Lovin', the one that's on Shakedown Street.
Right.
You know, if you live in Jersey, you're gonna listen to the Dead sooner or later.
Awesome.
So we probably did 5 songs. We did really great, and it was a good time. Nobody wanted to play bass, so we had 3 guitar players up there, and we had a chick playing piano and singing, and a drummer. Like, I don't want to play bass. I don't want to play bass. I don't want to play bass. So there's like 3. We look like a 13-year-old Leonard Skinner. You know how they got the guitar, lineup. The guitar onslaught. They call it the assault of the guitars, and it was just really cool. I still go past, the church is still up, the auditorium where we played. And it was a good time. And then after that, it was there was a last day of school party, I think in 7th grade. That was the first party I played, which was with the same band. But back then we used to pass the bass around, and this one would play bass for this song, and I'd play bass for that song, But Yeah, so that was like the first couple of shows back in 7th grade. Yeah, cool stuff.
Very nice. Very nice. Got people popping in here, and I just
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for stopping down.
the other
Welcome
reason
to Keeping It Country's Corner.
the other reason is why I normally keep it to me and you is because it's unlimited time limit as long as I'm in there. But usually when you have three or more, it's a 40-minute because they just sent me a thing. We said, "Hey, we're sending you a gift. We've removed your time limit." So
Oh, all right.
I had to click on love.
Don't say that, man, or else they're all going to come on board.
Well, no, because that's why I'm working on what I was doing. As you see, I had to mute one of the other ones because I could hear some background noise.
All right, cool.
It wasn't the important one down over here.
All right.
She can do her own, but
All right.
I see Rick.
Well, all right.
But he's got his. Looks like he's got his stuff muted as well. Oh nope, he doesn't either. So, eek. Let me go in here and ding 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 ding. I don't know any of those. The other one was just mute the mic, and I got to do that. But anyhow, okay. Well, we'll keep on moving on, moving on.
All right, yeah. The big
As you
shout
see,
out to my
I'm
brother
a work
Rick
in progress myself. The story's never be finished. It's yet to be written.
That's right. To be continued, brother.
Right on, right on. We talked a little bit about you doing, obviously back in your musical days, and doing a little bit of touring and stuff like that. Do you have a favorite moment from those past times, or is your favorite moment yet to come?
I have a lot of favorite moments. I was being searched out to tour with somebody that's very, very famous. His first name's Garth.
Right.
Yeah. So some of his people came out to see me one night, and it was really, really cool. I did, it didn't happen for me, but they actually, one of the people liked that song Jukebox a lot. And, not to get into the story because, nothing happened, but it was just really nice having people that were like successful and, were like major people, and they come up and shake your hand. And, I really liked your set. When I play around in New Jersey, I don't just do country songs. I don't just do my songs. I get the dance floor going. I also play with a duo. I play with a band. Sometimes I play with a backing track. And I tell you, you have a photo album at home, like when you were growing up, when you were a kid, and your mom's like, "Oh, look at this picture when Ray had his bib on. Oh, look at this picture when Ray skinned his knee when he fell off his bicycle."
Yes, sir.
So that's what these gigs are like, man. I got this whole awesome freaking photo album of just great moments. There just isn't one. There's like a truckload of them. Because all my gigs, I'm not going to say every gig's amazing, because Susan has seen a few gigs that were amazing, and she's seen some gigs that there was like 2 people at, and that was me and the bartender. It happens, you know what I mean? It happens. I mean, there was a time when I saw Ted Nugent. There was only like 100 people at this place. It was just one of those things where timing is everything. But I've played so many different parties and gigs. I've played over 1,000 gigs so far. Over 1,000 shows, man.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
I played over 1,000 gigs, and that was counted 2 summers ago. We figured that I have played over 1,000 different times, and that's what, listen, parties, concert halls. I've played in New York City in front of 6,000 people with different bands. I mean, I've played live on stage over 1,000 different times, and I've been doing this for a while, and I love it. So I'll tell you, I've had a lot of great memories, and I know there's a lot of great memories to come. I feel like I'm just getting started, brother.
Right on. You are. I mean, look at our icon. Well, look at the George Straits, and Lord forbid, even Willie Nelson, although Willie kind of told everybody to go do their own thing because they tried to make him choose, and they found out that old Willie got no pull, You ain't telling me what to do.
No, man.
So
He's another artist that I did get to meet a long time ago, and he was really super cool.
And that's the thing is most people they want to make their and we shouldn't judge anybody. The only person I can judge is that ugly mug I see in the mirror every morning when I shave my face. That's the only person I can ever.
We
judge.
see the same guy.
Well, right? I hear you. But people want to judge or think that they know you by and people can't understand that sometimes artists are asked to put on a persona when they're on stage. Because I have met some people on that seen their stage show, and you were just saying, "Oh, they must be a wild child," and you go back to meet them, and they're the most sweetest, kindest, soft-spoken person you ever want to talk to, and a real sweetheart. Kind of like you, because I'm sure when you're on stage, you can get up there and rock out with the best of them. But then when we have these conversations here, people get, and that's why I try to do these, so that the fan base is kind of get a peek behind the curtain of Scott Brandt and some of the other artists, and get to know you, not just what they get to see or hear online or whatever. They get to know you and obviously your adorable significant other there.
She is gorgeous. I want to give a shout out to my brother Ricky. I know he likes me to call him Rick, but I tell you, I was playing with this real hard rock band up in North Jersey. And, I love seeing my brother. My brother has been a huge supporter of my music my whole life. And along with the rest of my family, I got 2 other sisters. My mom and, was an amazing supporter. But, I miss my brother a lot, and he lives down there by you guys. He's down in Florida over on the West Coast. And,
we talked that.
We're really tight. And, he set it up so he surprised me at one of these gigs. I was playing at this place called Big John's Pub, and we used to pack this place. We used to pack it. I mean, like, I'm here playing guitar because I wasn't singing back then, and like people were like this close to me, and it was a big old biker bar. So we were doing everything from Leonard Skinner to Pantera. I mean, this place we really tore this place up. I was in a band called Overtwerk. I see my brother Rick standing behind my amp, man, and I was just like, "Oh, this was a great moment." And but I know he's here. He's checking out the interview.
Right, I see.
My brother's always been a great part. Sometimes, when you're a guitar player, your mom don't really appreciate you too much cranking it up in your bedroom, So my brother had a really nice ranch. He lived in Orange City. He says, "You know what? Don't worry, Mom, it's not that she doesn't love you playing guitar, but you're rattling the walls and her pictures off the walls."
Breaking glass, baby.
He came over and we picked up my amp and my guitar and everything. And he like set me up in his backyard, and he's just like, "Man, go for it." And I just turned this thing up. I'm sure he remembers. And I was like, "Wow." And he's just like ready to rip skip. My brother and I are huge Led Zeppelin fans. So, those were always a lot of cool moments that I could always remember.
That's awesome. Yeah, those are the lifelong memories.
And there aren't no audience at all. It's just me and my brother.
Well, sometimes it's not about having an audience. It's about who your audience is. And they could be family or just one friend, or it could be 5 or 6 friends.
Yeah.
Obviously, looking beyond the current times, what plans do you have for your musical career for the rest of this year and beyond?
So what do you mean?
So after obviously we get out of this COVID-19 quarantine lockdown, what are musically wise, do you have any other than the music we already alluded to, or any tours and shows that you're going to be doing the rest of this year? And
we are going to go out to the clubs and play the living hell out of them guitars and keyboards and bass and drums and everything. You get up on the stage and just be like, "Woo!
Out of quarantine!" I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can't wait, man. We can't wait. When you got that bull that everybody wants to ride, and he hadn't been riding in a while, and he's in there and he's hungry. He's trying to get out. He gonna
get nasty.
That's me right now. It's just Yeah, my brother's like, oh, you got to tune it down a little bit. You got to tune it down
Yeah,
a
I'm,
little
I'm
bit.
right there with you, brother. You don't need to tune down nothing. You just go ahead and crank it on up. I don't
Yeah,
care.
but I got gigs all over the place, and Susan will tell you, I mean, I play out sometimes 4 or 5 times a week, and hey, everything just stopped. And it's also, it's for my safety, it's for our safety, it's for the people where I was playing safety, and I bring a lot of joy to a lot of people I play for. I mean, and I got a talent agent and all that I work for, and I book my own shows, and I got so many people, Ray, helping me. It's just wonderful. Like I said, I can't thank all the people helping me enough. I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for all the wonderful people in my life. And right now everything stopped. And I know I got a little wild and screamed my head off for a minute, but that's what's going to happen. I mean, as soon as the bars and clubs open up again, man, it's just going to be nuts.
You're
It's
exactly.
going to be nuts.
Everybody's
And
pent up. They don't have any.
We got to remember all this stuff. Since we've been home and we've been looking at four walls and the dog, and what's going to happen is I'm hoping that we remember some of the stuff and we don't forget it all. I'm hoping that our parents remember that they had dinner with their children at the table, like you said. I'm hoping that mom and dad still take the kids out for a walk after dinner. I'm hoping that all these things that America was built on, that we went back to all of a sudden, hey, listen, some might think this is God's way of trying to get families back together again. I don't know. I'm not into conspiracies, but this is a chance right now where men and women can get together with their kids, their grandkids. That I got a friend of mine. She's in the house with her husband, her daughter, son-in-law, and the two grandkids. There's like 6 or 7 of them. They're quarantined. But you know what? She's told me, because we do Skype meetings and stuff like that. She's like, these are the best times that I've ever had with my grandkids. And there's things that my daughter that I raised, she said, I never even knew. And I was like, that's because she couldn't tell you, because you don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, they didn't want to get that whooping, and I don't mean anything negative by that, because back in our day, that's just the way it was.
Yeah,
you got out of line, you got a whooping, and it depended on how bad it was.
We've developed a closeness, and I'm hoping, Ray, that we don't lose that. I'm hoping that we can combine the new normal, which is being basically a coronavirus awareness.
Yes.
And there was some other things like that happened previously, and not to get on the whole political thing, because I know where we stand, but there was always an awareness. Well, guess what? There was no COVID-19 awareness, man. Boom, we got hit with it. Just stop the truck.
Sucker punched.
Sucker punched, baby. And so as we get through this, one nation under God, and everybody
indivisible with liberty and justice.
Exactly. As we get through this,
not just for some, for all.
For all the countries. I'm hoping it unites us as a people, like I said before, and everybody knows they're going to laugh. I hate repeating myself. But I just know when the bars and clubs open up, I mean, I also play like parades and stuff like that in town. So it's just not all about, drinking Jack Daniels and seeing Scott Brandt. You know what I mean? It's also, we do a family thing where we're at different functions. We play all over the place, festivals and everything like that. I'm hoping that when everything gets back to the new normal, that we still can remember what it was like for that 4 or 6 weeks or whatever it takes to get through this, so we're all healthy. I just hope that we remember that we all loved one another.
You hit the nail right on the head. It's almost, and I hate to use the term force, but it's almost forced for everybody to remember, hey, we have values and morals. Let's start using them. Let's quit being so ugly with one another, and remember what we're supposed to. We're supposed to be kind to one another. We're supposed to lift everyone up. And what now on the positive side of that, you see that going on, not just the United States, you see it going on worldwide.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a slap in the face everybody needed to say, y'all need to quit pardon my language, young lady, quit the bitching.
Yeah, you know.
and get on to your family values and move and get this thing moving along. So, all right. Well, that was for this year. How about beyond this year and maybe even next year, or do you not try to think about stuff like that? You just kind of let it play where it plays out, and
Well, I'm not one of those people that tries looking at the last page of the book, if you know what I'm saying.
I understand that. I'm still kicking. I'm still. Any day that I'm on this side of the dirt is a good day.
Yeah, well, you know, I try to just, you know, I do a lot of praying, Ray. I pray every day for my family, my loved ones. I pray every day for, you know, how good God's been to me. Um, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't ask for much. I really don't ask for much. So when I get a song in my head, it's pretty much like a gift. You know, God's given me that desire. God's given me that intellect to come up with these melodies like Sweetheart or Jukebox. I mean, I was driving in my truck and I just kept hearing in my head, turn up the jukebox, baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I'm like, what? And then that's the same way, you don't love me like I want you to. I can't explain it. It's cosmic. But that's why, you know, I don't know where I'm going to be next week, Ray. I don't know where I'm going to be in a year from now. I don't know where. I know I'm going to live to be damn near over 100 years old because I ain't done pesting people yet. I was put here to raise hell, damn it.
That's what I tell people. I tell them I'm too honored to die.
Yeah, well, I'm too arrogant to die. No, the thing is, I know where I want to be. You know, I'm a family guy. I love being around family. I love being around kids. I love family gatherings. I'm very old fashioned like that. I love spending time at home, but also too, I like going out. I like having a good time. I love going to concerts. So I'd say, you know, in a couple of years from now, it would be wonderful to be on tour with somebody. You know, if God thinks I'm ready for that, He'll let me know. You
Awesome.
know, but you know, you know, you ask for it, you know, and like I said, I pray every day, but I don't pray that I'm going to be successful, Ray. I don't pray that I'm going to sell 1 million records. I don't. If God thinks I'm ready for it, then that's up to Him, and I'm ready for that, and I accept that because God's been good to me. You know, I'm at a stage in my life right now where I'm the happiest that I've ever been. I'm in a good place right now. Even this whole COVID-19, I've never been more happier and fulfilled in my whole entire life with the way things are for me, with the way I feel about myself musically, with the way that my love life is, with the way that I carry myself, with the way that I'm writing music, with the way I walk, the way I talk. I've never been so happy in my whole entire life. It's just, if I was to not do anything starting tomorrow, I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it. I'm satisfied. You know, God's put it in my heart where I'm satisfied. And I mean, I want to keep going. I want to keep playing guitar. But if it was the all end, it is what it is. I hope it's not that way. You know, God's got a funny sense of humor. You know what I'm saying?
Well, He does. That's my own personal belief. He does because, you know, my whole thing was I don't really speak politics and religion, but I can only speak on my side of it. So for me, when I pray, it's never about me.
No.
It's always for somebody else's well-being or healing of them and whatever they may be going through. Because all those people that want to me, there again, this is only my own opinion, everybody. This has nothing to do with Scott or anybody else in here. The only time they look at God is when they get in trouble. And the very first thing is, oh God, just get me out of this and I'll do whatever you ask. Trouble is, that lasts for about the first 30 minutes. They get out and get back out on the streets, and then they're back doing what they need to do. Um, there again,
Unfortunately,
you're one of the fortunate ones like myself. You're happy with yourself inside and out, and you don't really want. I have a roof over my head. I have
right.
food in my stomach, and I've been blessed with children and people who love me and stuff like that. I don't want or need for anything.
Yeah. I always thank the Lord when I pray, and I'm very thankful about things. And like I said, my friends and family and everybody just been wonderful throughout everything. And it's something to really just to be happy about. If you can't be satisfied about the people that love you and trust you, I don't satisfied about.
Right, I get you. All right, that's I'm the same way that you are, brother. I have a lot of blessings, because I never thought I would live to be above. I was that bulb that burnt really really bright through his 20s,
Right.
and but as soon as I had my first child, it was that's enough of that nonsense and silliness.
Oh yeah.
You're
Yeah.
that you're. I went from being single and a wild man to being a father of a 7-year-old with one in
Oh
the oven.
wow.
At 20, I went from 28 years old to 29 to having nothing at 28, and that 20 when I turned 29, I had a 7-year-old daughter because I don't disseminate between stepchildren. When they
Of
once they
course. No. No.
decided to call me dad, I'm their dad forever.
Yeah.
And then 7, and then one in the oven. So it was like, wow, okay, it's time for you to get right with yourself,
Yeah.
which was a good thing. And here I am on the 30
Yeah,
year
yeah,
bonus
man. I go on
program.
your
I'll be
page.
60.
Yep. Your daughter's like, I love you, dad, and everything. Good for you. You're an awesome dad.
Right on, man. So, let's see what we've got coming up next. We've got this one. This one kind of makes you dig in, and it kind of makes you think. And I do it more for people like me and you who have a little bit of experience that can maybe let these young people know, these young artists coming up. Yeah, there are going to be troubles and there are going to be hard times, but it's all you got to do is persevere through it. So the question to you is, what are some of the struggles you as an artist have had to persevere through?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have your good gigs and bad gigs, and one of the funniest stories I have is I was playing in Seaside Park, New Jersey, which is a huge boardwalk. It's the Jersey Shore area. And like I said, I was in a band where the bass player sang a few songs, the drummer sang a few songs, and together we worked it out so we can get gigs. And I can't sing rock. I can't. There's certain songs I just can't sing. I'm not believable. I could sing country stuff, no problem, and a couple other things. That's not it. So we got a request. You remember that artist in the '90s? His name was Duncan Sheik, and he had that song "Barely Breathing." So it's like, and I am barely breathing. So Mike, the drummer, goes, Scott, do that Duncan Sheik song. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna do a little barely breathing right now. So I'm doing the chords. I know the guitar part's really good, but like I said, I wasn't much of a singer, and I mean, we're about 2 minutes into the song, and this guy across the bar is like, "You suck." The best part about it was I
knew it. But you didn't care because you were still playing.
Hey man, we kept it going, and listen, at that point I would do all like the George Thorogood stuff because I have that baritone type of voice. I could sing the hell out of George Thorogood and Georgia Satellites and all that stuff. So at the end of the night, he got all snockered up. And he came up to me, he's like, bro, man, I didn't mean to say that. You guys really rocked. And I was like, man, you know what? I'll never do that song again. Thank you.
Right. put the shoe on the other foot. Put it right back on.
Yeah,
There
but
you
you
go.
know what? You got to play the bad gigs to know where you stand. You got to have people tell you that you suck to know where you stand. Listen, I'm not a believer in getting a trophy for 7th place, man. You got 1st place, 2nd place, and 3rd place. You know what? Mediocrity is okay, but you ain't gonna get on the big stage touring with the big people with just being media. You want to be something special, you got to go out there and you got to be something special. You got to be something